Vintage Klay last night, coming off a month of January in which his numbers were better than they've ever been for a single month. So, Dibs, and you're kind of the keeper of the moral code here, I think, and thank goodness you are. Does anybody around here on the station, fan-wise, does anybody owe Klay an apology today?
I don't believe in apologies when it comes to doing what we do.
Apology not accepted?
Apology not issued, quite frankly. And the apology not accepted, by the way, doesn't come from Steiny. It comes from my brother Doug from Thanksgiving about 11 years ago. Many people hear the drop of Steiny and think that he came up with that.
No.
It's borrowed from Doug Dibley, who shares a birth year with Matt Steinmetz. They're about the same years old, but I don't believe...
That's when you apologized to your brother for something and he just shut
Yes,
down.
well, because it was Thanksgiving.
Not accepted.
And we were taking pictures, and I flashed a picture with an actual flash. And he said, ow, 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 ow. And I was like, and we all laughed. Because who says ow when a flash bulb goes off? And so we all laugh. And he says, you know I've got bad eyes. And I said, Doug, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. Apology not accepted. And then we burst into laughter for a second time. So
But he didn't, right?
No, he didn't think it was funny at all, quite frankly.
But shut up.
I don't believe in sports radio apologies. Bonte did a big bit a couple of months ago about sorry, Jimmy G. It's a cute bit, and I liked it. But in terms of apologies, I don't think that we owe Klay an apology because the topic of the day, and it wasn't just us in the media who was saying it, should Klay go to the bench and should Jordan Poole now start? And it turned out to be nonsense, and I actually thought it was nonsense from the start because if you look at Klay Thompson's career, the only time he has ever come off the bench in his whole career is his rookie year. Every other game, Klay Thompson has started. Steph Curry's appeared off the bench more times than Klay Thompson has, which tells you all you need to know about Klay Thompson's comfort zone in terms of how he wants to play. He wants to start. So the whole notion was ridiculous, but it was a topic. And because it was a topic, we don't need to issue any apologies to Klay Thompson.
From Matt Steinmetz on the text line here. Well, he texted you too. Apology my ass, says Matt Steinmetz.
Yeah. And that's kind of how Steiny rolls. But I don't think...
I don't know what Steiny said about Klay. I wasn't talking about him, certainly, necessarily.
Well, he might have been saying it was... I don't think that Steiny was of the mind that Klay needed to come off the bench. And, some people are saying, oh, you owe Klay an apology because some of us, myself included, were saying Klay is taking bad shots and Klay is not playing that well. These things were facts.
Right.
And now that Klay's playing better, it doesn't mean that the things we said in December were wrong. They were right in December. But now here we are, February 7th, and it's also fair to say Klay Thompson is playing incredibly well. He's shooting the ball as well as he has his whole career.
Yeah. There were two aspects to it. One was, hey, Klay's never going to be the same. And so I know that bothered him, even though it was funny because he would acknowledge it. Of course I'm not the same right now, but how can Charles Barkley say not going to be the same? And people wondered, will he ever be the same? And I think that was fair to wonder. And you could also say, even without the injuries, he wouldn't be the same at 33 as he was, earlier in his career. Obviously, he's put some of that to bed, but I think that was reasonable. I thought, when he first came back, I thought the shot will be there because he's always going to be able to shoot. And it wasn't. It took him a long time to get there. But the other thing, as far as, I agree with you, as far as whether he should have been starting, the thing with Klay is he was taking so many bad shots that it was getting to the point where the Warriors were going to have to do something, but he figured it out. And they deserve all the credit for letting him play through that. But it was to a point where he was hurting them last year with how many bad shots he was taking. And this year, too, and he came in out of shape, and that was on him.
And he comes in with the same mindset that he always has, which is, a shooter shoots, and I'm going to shoot my way out of this. And so you can't love Klay Thompson for being such a prolific scorer and at the same time hate on Klay Thompson for shooting too much. The only thing that I was critical of was the fact that he was hunting shots and he was taking bad shots.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and he was trying to force his way back into a comfort zone. And maybe, and Klay might be the one to tell you this, if it wasn't for all the shots he missed in November and December, maybe he wouldn't have had the January that he had. Only Klay can speak to that. But he does seem like he's in better shape. It looks like he's taking better shots. He's making more shots. And all of a sudden now you look at Klay Thompson averaging 21.3 a game, better than last year, the most since 2019 when they had KD still. Klay Thompson looks to be, on the offensive end anyway, all the way back.
Yeah, he's no longer trying to prove things to anyone, especially himself. I think he was trying to prove to himself that he was back. But, last night at Chase Center was Bruce Lee night, and Klay says he has adapted a Bruce Lee-like philosophy.
That's also a great book written by Miss Shannon Lee. That book helped me so much during the time when I wasn't playing basketball. Even outside of basketball, I try to apply her and her father's teachings to my life. That book is incredible. And as far as on the court, to be like water is just to flow, be effortless, be quick but not in a hurry, and always have ultimate belief in yourself. So that's what it means to me to be like water, and thought I resembled that tonight.
So perhaps the Zen path is the best path for the Warriors back into a championship contention this year, Dibs.
Well, and what he said about ultimately believe in himself was evidenced in his game. If you look at, his November and his December, where other than the one time he kind of clapped back at Charles Barkley, when Barkley was kind of saying, well, this is what you expect when players get older. He's done.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, Klay hasn't responded to anything. He has stayed true to his process, which is shoot my way out of the slump. But the numbers tell you all you need to know. 3 of 10 early in the year. He's got a 6 of 19, followed by a 5 of 14, a 7 for 19, a 3 for 13. He was struggling. He was struggling to find not only his rhythm, but to find the basket.
And some of those, the numbers don't tell the whole story, because to the point you made, not only did he not shoot well, but some of those were bad shots that he shouldn't have been taken in the first place.
Exactly. And that's where it gets to where Klay's talking about you got to be like water and have ultimate self-confidence, because Klay didn't really have many games where he shied away from the shot. He kept with it. If you look at his entire game log, there's only one game other than a game at the start of the year where he shot fewer than 10 times. It was a game at Dallas. He was 2 of 9 in a game the Warriors would go on to lose by 3. But other than that, you look at his shot attempts.
Oh, yeah.
21, 23, 25, 26.
36 minutes. Yeah, last year when he came back compared to his career, it's like, oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he has not lacked for confidence. Whether or not all of us as fans have watched him and thought, oh, geez, Klay, maybe it is near the end. Maybe you need to come off the bench. Maybe you need to not shoot so much. This, that, and the other. Klay Thompson has never wavered, and now he's in a spot. Forget the 42-point game. He's had a monster. It's more than just a little stretch now. It's about 6 weeks.